I'm doing it right.
Right?
Thank you. Um, so the first question I was having trouble with was number 3. So if a standardized recipe lists 10 pounds of onion as purchased and the peeling and trimming waste is 20%, the edible portion is how many pounds? So I was doing the triangle. So I was doing 10 divided by point 2, and I wasn't it wasn't working. I don't know if I wasn't doing it right or if it was multiplication.
Okay, cool. So we're looking for the edible portion, right?
Yes.
Okay. So and you did 10 divided by 0.2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we think about this is if you want to think back, I know it's a long, long time ago, like 8 to 10 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But the universal formula for percentage is part divided by the whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so percent equals part
Mm-hmm.
divided by the whole. Then that can help you identify the different what's going to go where in the whatchamacallit, in the triangle, for example. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So as purchased,
Mm-hmm.
that is what is brought to our restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so our as purchased is on the bottom. We know the percent because that stays on the bottom. And then
Mm-hmm.
what's left over after we trim it and all that kind of stuff, that's our edible portion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so if we're looking for EP, we cover
So
that up and what's left over.
the multiplication. Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
Got Okay. So it would be 2. Okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah. And so if you think about it also too, let's see, let me erase.
I guess I wrote down the triangle wrong. I think I had it wrong.
So if you think about it this way too, you can do a couple of different things, right? You can do 10 divided by 0.2,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Or 10 times 0.2, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in this case, we got 2. And when
Mm-hmm.
you do 10 divided by 0.2, what do you get?
Um, 50.
50. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do both of them and then
Okay.
put your answer into the sentence, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have 10 pounds of onions and 20% of it is waste. That means 50 pounds is waste. Or I have
Yeah.
10 pounds of onions, 20% is waste. So that means I have 2 pounds of waste.
Okay.
So then
Yeah.
that way, kind of just work it out both ways while you're still learning. And then eventually
Mm-hmm.
you'll be like, oh, yeah, that's what I do. But while you're still learning, do it both and put both answers into a sentence and then
Mm-hmm.
see which one sounds right.
Okay. That sounds much better.
And most often, chances are you've divided when you multiplied or vice versa.
Okay. Understood. Okay, so the next one was okay, no, that was just okay. So this one, I guess I'll ask you. A manager taking an actual count of ingredients on hand for the purpose of calculating food costs is conducting which type of inventory?
And
So,
what are your options?
so it was averaging, physical, padding, and perpetual.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so read the sentence again.
So, a manager taking an actual count of ingredients on hand for the purpose of calculating food cost is conducting which type of inventory?
Okay.
Mm.
So put yourself in that manager's shoes.
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine yourself looking at a storeroom shelf and you're actually counting the different items on the shelf.
Mhm.
Would that be, I'll give you a hint. It starts with a P.
Okay.
So
Would
that gives you
be-
a 50-50 shot, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Is it perpetual? No. Okay.
Yeah. So think about it this way. Okay.
Mhm.
As you are actually counting, you are physically touching the product.
Okay.
Okay. So physical inventory means you can actually see it,
Mhm.
versus perpetual. Do you know what the definition of perpetual is?
Not at the top of my head, no.
Okay. So perpetual is constantly updating. So
Mhm.
perpetual inventory would be something like we've got, are you a baking student or culinary?
Baking.
Baking, okay. So let's say we have 50 red velvet cupcakes in our case, right? In inventory.
Hmm.
Every time you hit red velvet on the computer, it takes one out of the inventory. That's the perpetual, right?
Okay.
So
Hmm.
then it's always being updated. So let's say we started with 50 cupcakes
Hmm.
and we've entered 25 times, right? We've
Hmm.
sold 25 cupcakes. Then at the end of the day, my perpetual inventory is going to say I have 25.
Gotcha.
Now, physically, you go in and count
Hmm.
and you have 24.
Yeah. And that's just.
Now we're missing one cupcake. We got to figure out where that cupcake went, you know?
Hmm.
So maybe we dropped it on the floor and not on the floor. Maybe we dropped it on the counter. Well, if we dropped it on the floor, got to throw it away. But if we dropped it on the counter and maybe we messed it up, well, maybe we're going to go ahead and cut it into pieces so then people can try it as a sample, right? So just got to
Hmm.
figure out as a manager what happened to that cupcake. So that's the
Gotcha.
physical. I can actually go in and touch it versus the perpetual, which is kind of the computer system that tells me I should have this on hand.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes a lot more sense.
Good.
Okay. And then number 10 was which kind of inventory uses a theoretical count based on goods received and issued? So this is the one that I actually put physical on.
Okay.
So estimation, perpetual, and actual.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So would it be, I had to guess again, would it be actual? No? Okay. Would it be perpetual?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So let's
Okay.
let's read that sentence again.
Okay. So which kind of inventory uses a theoretical count based on goods received and issued?
Okay, so theoretical count is the key word there, right? In theory,
Hmm.
I should have 25 red velvet cupcakes.
Hmm.
Actually, physically counting, I only have 24. Okay.
Hmm.
So that's that theoretical count is the key word. And then the last sentence, the last part of the sentence is read that last part of the sentence for me.
Based on goods received and issued.
Okay. So received and issued, right?
Hmm.
Let's continue this conversation about red velvet cupcakes. Okay.
Hmm.
So I start with 50, and let's say I had to add an extra 20 because I started selling a whole bunch of them, right?
Hmm.
Then my theoretical is I technically had 70 to start with, right?
Hmm.
And then I sold 68. Then my
Hmm.
theoretical and my perpetual is 2. I should have 2 cupcakes left.
Hmm.
My physical, I count. My actual, what I do have is 2. Great. Our numbers match. That's our
Gotcha.
goal as a manager, to make sure our theoretical and perpetual matches what we physically have. Because that means whatever's accurate, whatever's on our sales is accurate. That means we're not missing any product.
Okay. Okay. Understood. Sounds good.
You just
Okay.
had it, you had them flipped, but now it all works
Yeah.
its way.
Falls into place. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. The next one I was having trouble with was 16. So consider the following historical information. Grilled fish accounted for 26% of sales. Barbecued ribs accounted for 22% of sales. Beef stroganoff accounted for 20% of sales, and steak accounted for 14 of sales. How many portions of grilled fish are expected to be sold if 425 covers are anticipated?
Okay. All right. So what this is saying is we have 425 anticipated covers, right? We have 425 anticipated guests that are going
Mhm.
to be coming into our restaurant for that, whatever that dinner shift is. Okay.
Mhm.
And it's talking about fish, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
So now let's use this heart divided by the whole again
Mhm.
equals percentage. Oops.
Okay. So 0.26 divided by 425.
Close. Close.
No.
Okay. So if the
Mhm,
part over the whole is the percentage, okay, we can draw our triangle.
mhm,
You know, the whole is on the bottom, part is up top, and the percent's on the bottom, right?
mhm, mhm,
Okay. So 26% is what
mhm,
we're going with.
mhm.
And what is the whole?
Oh, okay. 400.
425, right? Because the part,
Mhm,
all of these items together
mhm.
should equal 425 entrees that we're going to serve that night.
Okay.
And so that's the whole. And so
Mhm.
again, we can just multiply straight across. And
Gotcha.
that will tell us how many of each item we should serve. Now, in this case, the question's only asking about the fish. So they're giving you a lot more information than what
Mhm.
you actually need, but we're just asking about the fish.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I got it.
Excellent.
All right. Mhm. Okay. Okay. So using the markup differentiation method of determining menu prices, the manager is using the following figures. Labor expense is 30%, other expenses is 22, and profit is budgeted at 8% of sales. If the standard portion cost of a hamburger is $2, what is the menu selling price of the hamburger?
Okay, cool. So initially, what are your thoughts on this?
So we're looking for the selling price of the hamburger. So that's probably going to be, hmm, portion cost of the hamburger. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. It's been a
Okay,
while.
so what is that $2, what does that represent?
The sales. No?
Nope. It represents what? Read the question again about the
Okay.
$2.
It says if the standard portion cost, okay, so the portion cost.
Okay.
Mhm.
So if we, and what's the question of what is the overall question?
It says, what is the menu selling price of the hamburger?
Okay. So we're looking for selling price
Mhm.
and we have the cost. So what does that look like?
The triangle, right?
You got it. Okay. Cool. So where does
Okay.
that $2 go?
Would it be the whole or the part?
It's the part, right? It's the cost.
Okay.
Remember our cost, sales, and percent is that I know there's a
Yeah.
lot of triangles to keep track of, but
Yeah.
again, that's why I always think about that part divided by the whole, right?
Mhm.
The part, that $2 is just part of what you need to sell that for, right? Because it's going to cover the cost of the ingredients.
Mhm.
So think about your project that you just finished, right?
Yes.
Those final calculations, you had a whole bunch of different percentages that you were dividing by, right?
Mhm.
So that's really what we are focusing on in this type of a question.
Mhm.
So we have the $2 cost. We know we're
Mhm.
looking for selling price.
Okay.
Now the question is, how do we find the percent?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And um I don't recall the chapter off the top of my head.
Mhm.
Um, but there is this a chapter that talks about how on the profit and loss statement,
Okay.
we have our food and beverage costs,
Mhm.
plus the labor, plus the other, plus the profit. All of that is going to equal to 100%.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
And so if that is equal to 100%, I'm going to do something really horrible called algebra. I know we don't talk about algebra, but I'm going to do it
They're good.
anyways. Okay.
They're
So
good.
we have our food and beverage, which is X, right? plus 30 plus 22 plus 8, all of that equals 100.
Mhm.
So in algebra, what do we have to do to this to make sure?
We have to isolate the x.
Good. And so how do we do that?
We move it. Oh man, it's been a minute. Uh,
If you want
so
to get x all by itself, how do we get rid of all of these?
would we add them together?
Okay, we can add them together. Cool. So now we have x plus, what is that?
Let me
30,
see.
60.
Yes.
Okay. So now how
Okay.
do we get the x by itself?
So we would subtract 60 from 60 and then do it to the other side and then
Exactly. And so that means x equals,
40.
good. So now
Okay.
we can say 40%.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And then now that we know the percentage,
Mhm.
right, we can go back to our triangle, 0.40 and $2, and then we'll get our selling price.
Okay. So that would be 20. Okay,
There you
$5.
go.
Okay.
So that's just got that question is really going to combine a couple of different elements, right? So of course the triangle, the food cost percentage, right? But the other concept is the fact that you know that all of these items add up to be 100%. So even if I don't give you any dollars, right? I don't give you any kind of numbers as far as the the um the different categories. I can leave that one out, but you know, if I give you the other three, then you
Mhm.
can get that fourth one because it all equals 100.
Gotcha. Okay.
We
Uh,
do use algebra after algebra.
yeah, unfortunate. Okay, 25. So the covers per server per hour standard is 25. The manager projects total covers of 305 for the 3-hour lunch period. How many servers should be scheduled?
Okay, so 305 for a 3-hour lunch.
Yes.
Okay, so what does this word per represent? You remember?
Um, no.
Okay, it represents a division sign.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay,
Yes.
so covers
Mhm,
per hour,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
And so if we take that and divide, okay?
mhm.
So if we do 305 divided by a 3-hour lunch, what do we get?
We get 101.67.
Okay, so that means I'm going to assume that I'm going to have 101 people, maybe 100 people, come in every hour during lunch today. Okay, my standard for covers per server is 25. Okay, so now if I need, if I expect every one of my servers to be able to handle 25 guests in 1 hour, right? We have 101 guests per hour. I can divide that by my 25 guests per server. And what do you get?
4.07.
Okay, so 4.07, because it's like 0.07,
Mhm.
we're not gonna send in a fifth person, right? Because then
Yeah.
nobody's gonna make any money because they're gonna have less guests per hour, right? And
Mhm,
so we might have one rock star that can handle a couple extra people per hour, you know?
mhm.
And so I would say that we go ahead and just bring on 4 people per hour or 4 people for the shift.
Okay. Four. Okay. Okay, these are good. Okay, it's mostly all the math ones. I'm
That's
gonna
fine.
be okay. So the next one is if the forecasted dollars available for label equals 18,000, benefits equal 3,600, and manager salaries equal 4,500. Which amount is available for variable cost employees?
Okay. So what is the benefits cost again?
Say it one more time, please.
What is the benefits cost?
36 or 300 and 600 bucks.
2,600?
Yes.
Okay. And then the salaries for is what?
4,500.
4,500. Okay. So this kind of a question is really kind of testing your knowledge of the fact that labor, most people think of labor as just what they're paying everybody per hour. But
Mm-hmm.
labor in total also includes the salaries plus any benefits that are paid out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so if we're looking for the variable cost, that's the hourly, right? What we pay all of our cooks and our servers and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
If the total I have is 18,000 available, and then if I subtract what already is scheduled for benefits and salary,
Mm-hmm.
then what remains is what I have left over for my variable.
Okay, okay, okay.
So if my
Gotcha.
overall budget is 18,000, and I
Mm-hmm.
know I'm going to spend 36 on benefits and 45 on salary. So
Mm-hmm.
now I need to figure out what I have left for my hourly.
Okay. 18. Okay. Mm. Hmm. Okay, so what I did was I added the 3,600 and then the 4,500 to combine it. Is that in
Okay,
the
so
right?
you got 8,100.
Yes.
Okay, so now you know that that equals 8,100.
Hmm.
You want to subtract that from the overall 18,000.
Okay, let me try that. 810. Okay, there it is. I was just putting it in the wrong order.
9,900?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So that's the money that we have in order to pay all of our hourly server or all of our hourly employees during that period.
Mm-hmm. Okie doke. Okay, I guessed on this one and I got it right, but I still need help understanding it.
Okay,
Manager reduces the turnover rate to 150% to 100%. If the restaurant has 100 employees and a new hire costs an average of 200 bucks to recruit, hire, and train, how much money did the manager save the restaurant with the lower turnover rate?
okay. So there's a couple of different ways, and I'm gonna do this live, and I may get it wrong. It's been a while since I thought about this, but let's figure it out this way.
It's
Okay.
okay.
So
Mhm.
if there's two different ways we can do this. Let me try the easiest way first. Okay. So we went from 150% to 100%. So what is the difference in percentage?
50%.
50%, right?
Mhm.
Um, so read the question to me one more time, please.
Uh, yes. Okay, so the manager reduces the turnover rate from 150% to 100%. If the restaurant has 100 employees and a new hire costs an average of $200 to recruit, hire, and train, how much money did the manager save the restaurant with a lower turnover rate?
Gotcha. Okay. So I think the key there I missed was the 100 employees. Okay.
Mhm.
So if
Okay.
we multiply this 50%
Mhm.
times the number of employees that we need to operate, what is 0.5 times 100?
50.
Okay. So that means I reduced my turnover rate by 50 people.
Mhm.
See how that works?
Yes.
So I went from 150 to 100%. And so that means I reduced by 50 people.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, if it's $200 per person, that 50 people times 200 is
10,000.
$10,000.
Mhm.
Okay. So what you want to do is, um, let me try something else a different way.
Oh wait, that's actually it. It was
It was,
10,000.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was 10,000. Let me try a different way.
Okay.
Okay. So
Mhm.
let's say we have 100 employees, right?
Mhm.
That's what we started with. Okay. So 150 as a decimal is what?
150. Okay, so 1.50.
1.5, right? So 100 times 1.5 equals what?
That equals 150.
150 people.
Mhm.
Okay. 100 as a decimal
Is 0.10.
is
All right.
just one,
Okay.
right? So
Mhm.
100 times 1 equals
100.
people. Okay.
Mhm.
So if we reduce from 150 to 100, that's where we get that 50 people again.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
So one way, option one, is to just subtract the percentage and multiply by the number of people. Oops, the number of people. Okay.
Mhm.
And then you can multiply that by the number rate.
Okay.
Because here, in this example here, we hired 150 people, let's say in 2021.
Mhm.
And because I reduced that by 50%, this year I only had to hire 100 people.
Mhm.
So that means from last year to this year, I saved $10,000. Just so I didn't have to hire those extra 50.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. That makes more sense. I guess. And I was like, oh, it's right. Okay. Thank you for helping me understand.
Of course.
Okay. Okay, so the next one is the closing inventory on March 31st was 5,500. Purchases in April totaled 21,000, and the closing inventory on April 30th was 6,500. So the total food available for sale in April was blank, blank, blank.
Okay, so this is a question that I wanted to put in the review just because it's kind of confusing
Mhm.
because the question is asking the total available inventory, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And so if you think about it, this is our beginning inventory. We add up our purchases and then we subtract our ending inventory. That's normally what we do to get the
Yes.
costs of goods sold, right?
Yes.
So what this question is asking though, actually, is asking you to stop right here,
Okay.
right? This is the total available inventory that we have because we started
Mhm.
with 5,500
Mhm.
and we added 21,000. So in reality, the total available inventory that we have for the whole month is 26,500,
Yes.
right? So this question is giving you more information, but correct me if I'm wrong, 20,000 is an option as an answer, correct?
It's 12,000, 27,500, 26,500, and then 33,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
cool.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
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 Because
Yeah.
sometimes they'll do that where the answer down here is 20,000 cost of goods sold, and they
Mhm.
would put both answers on there. But this way, it helps you you take your beginning inventory and
Mhm.
all the purchases, and that's your total available for the month.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I only have. Okay. So the total sales for Thursday were 2,205 and 50 cents. The currency coins and checks amounted to 1,255 and 25 cents. Chargers were 1,000, 2,000, or 1,000, 20.25, and the bank for the drawer was $75. What is the overage and shortage on the daily sales report?
The bank was how much?
The bank was $75.
Okay. So our total sales is $2,205.50. Okay.
Mhm.
If I add up all of these numbers, right? Well,
Mm.
let me do something real quick. Let me just double check. Okay. So ideally, what we're looking at here is our cash or our currency, right? Our cash and our currency plus our charges should equal our sales for the day. Okay. So let's go ahead and add those two numbers up together, the 1255.25 and the 1020.25.
All right. So 2,275.50.
Okay. Now, that is all the money that I have, because remember this bank right here is still included in this cash. My bank, I start with 75, so I gotta take that $75 out. Okay. I subtract $75. What do I end up with?
We are left with 2,250 cents.
Okay. So if I'm left with 2,200 and my sales say 2,205 and 50, what does that mean?
That they're so wait, sorry. So that's what we have left.
Yep. So my
Okay.
sales are 2,205,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
And I actually have 2,200. So what does
Mhm.
that mean? I'm missing
But
$5,
yeah, okay.
right? I'm missing $5. And
Yes.
so that means I'm $5 short. I can only turn in,
Oh,
right?
mhm,
I only have $2,200 to turn in, but my
mhm.
sales say 2,205.
Okay.
So something else you can do, let me just double check my math real quick.
Mhm. Yeah, I was putting overage. I think I got the math right. I was choosing the wrong one. Okay. So 30.
Oops, hold on.
Okay.
205, 50 minus 12, 55, 25 minus 10, 20.25. It worked a moment ago. Let me check. Okay, so 12. Give me a -5. I don't know why it's working out that way, but the answer is $5 shortage, right? We're
Yes,
gonna
yes.
compare, we're gonna compare these two answers, the 2,200, the
Mhm.
2,205 is the sales.
Okay. Sounds good. Yes. And lastly, 42. So the standard portion size of a honey pork loin is 8 ounces. And the current edible portion is 0.30 or 30 cents an ounce. If the kitchen staff slices 10-ounce portions and the restaurant sells 50 orders during the week, by how much did the food cost exceed the standard?
Okay, so a couple of different ways we can work this. Our
Mhm,
standard size is 8 ounces, right?
mhm.
And if our kitchen is doing 10 ounces, if we have 50 portions, how many total ounces did we sell, or did we serve, I should say? How many total ounces did we serve total if we did 10 ounces?
So mm, would it be five?
Five, what?
Portions?
Well, no, so we have 10-ounce portions. We sold 50 portions
Yes. Okay.
and we sold 10 ounces each, or we served 10 ounces each time.
Mm-hmm.
So if we multiply those two numbers together, what do we get?
We get 500.
500 ounces is what we actually served, right? Now, what should we have served?
Just 10 ounces.
The standard portion size is
Oh,
eight
the size is
ounces.
8. Yes.
So
Okay.
what should we have served?
Um, so 8 times 50, 400.
Okay, so we should have served 400 portions, or sorry, 400 ounces,
Mm-hmm.
but in reality, we sold 500 ounces. So how many ounces did we serve over?
100.
Good. So we oversold or overserved by 100 ounces. And how much
Mhm.
does each ounce cost?
It cost, how much did it say? 30 cents an ounce.
Okay,
So times 30. So 30.
$30,
Okay. Yeah, there it is. Okay.
right? So
Yes.
you can just figure that out.
Mhm.
The other way to do that
Yes.
is we should have served 8-ounce portions, right?
Mhm.
And we actually served 10 ounces. So what's the difference between the two?
One. 1 ounce? No?
8 to 10?
8 to 10?
Yeah, how
Oh,
many ounces? Yeah, 2 ounces. Okay.
yeah.
So that's 2 ounces difference. And we sold 50 portions.
Mhm.
So that's the 100 ounces.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's two different ways. One's a little bit shorter, but the other way, it kind of just gives you the full picture, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so then we do the same thing. We times the 30 cents per ounce.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that seems a little bit easier to remember. Okay. Well, that's it. That's all the ones that I had questions on.
Okay. Are
Yeah.
you are you coming in next week to do the exam?
Yes.
Okay, do you know which day you're coming in?
Um, I want to say probably Tuesday, maybe, most likely.
Tuesday? Okay,
Mhm.
sounds good. Do you know about what time you might be coming in?
Maybe about 9:30
Okay,
or 10. Mhm.
I have a tour that I'm gonna give at 9:30.
Okay.
So if you can get here by 9, I can get you started. And then I'm not sure how long I don't think the tour is gonna take too terribly long.
Mhm.
So I might just hand them off to Chef Costello to finish the tour. I might just start it. But yeah, just meet me there in the room 303.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Thank you
Awesome.
for all the help again.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome. Have a
Have
great
a good
day.
one. You too.